Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the self-proclaimed cutest podcast in all of Wraith. Welcome to Pitch Perfect. You are here with Kiki and Elaine, and today we have a special guest as we have multiple award-winning cosplayer, judge at Flesh and Blood Worlds 2024, your friend and mine. We have Max Ferocity, also known as Rachel to some, but Max Ferocity. Welcome. How are you doing?
Hi guys. Doing all right. How are you all doing today?
I'm doing wonderfully. I've had coffee. And that's all I've had today, and that's all I've had to do, so I'm doing great.
That's all you need, though. So
I'm doing okay. It's been a long 13-hour day, but I just got out of my last class, so woohoo, graduation.
Oh my god, congrats. When's your graduation date?
Exciting.
Like, when's the big event?
The 16th, so in 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
2 weeks.
It's exciting. Yeah. That's a special date, too. We'll get to that later.
Oh, okay. Yay.
Foreshadowing.
How exciting.
There's like double cool things happening on that day.
Yay.
So, for those who aren't aware of who you are, Max, could you please introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about you, why you're in Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, so I go by Max online, but those that know me in the Flesh and Blood, haha, make dad jokes this whole time, get used to it, know me as Rachel. I have been doing cosplay in Flesh and Blood for about 2.5 years now, and I can't believe it's actually been that long. It feels like it was yesterday when I did my first one. I've been playing Flesh and Blood since Monarch first came out, but my first set was Arcane Rising. Which was where I fell in love with the character I think people associate me the most with, which is Dash, my one and only that I usually play in CC. So that's who I am in the Flesh and Blood community. You can see me at a lot of events. I'm a Blitz queen, so watch out in that format. I know it's not that popular, but I am dangerous at the table there. We won't talk about CC though.
Too many life points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it is wonderful to have you on the channel. We're very excited to have you on, and your backdrop is fantastic. Just want to put it out there. There's so much going on to look at.
I know, there's all the tools, the lights and everything. I need to make it feel cozy, otherwise I'll go nuts when I'm crafting in here. Once you get to the hard parts of things, it has to feel like my little cave.
It feels very immersive though as well. The blue lights feel very, very kind of modern techno, you know.
That was the hope. I'm actually wearing my Techlo Industries shirts here, so going with the theme.
We have committed. Okay.
All in.
Yeah. So the first segment we normally kind of get to in our podcast is our weeks in Flesh and Blood. Now I'm assuming once again that Elaine and I haven't really had much to do with Flesh and Blood in terms of playing the game. So
Yeah,
Rachel.
No. I had 3 finals this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so what have I?
Yeah.
What have I been up to in Flesh and Blood? What have I been playing? Is that okay?
What have you been playing?
So
what have you
lately,
been doing? Doesn't necessarily have to be the game itself.
Okay, yeah. So I will say, and I know if my friends watch this, they're going to be like, "Don't lie and say you're at Armory every week." It's been a busy couple of months. I started a new job in the fall, and it's been a bit crazy. I've had to commute downtown. I live outside of Chicago, so I have a 3-hour round trip commute and a pretty long work week. So I haven't been at my armories as much as I'd like to be, but I have been attending the big events. Just got back. Well, I say just. I think it's been 2 weeks. From the London Pro Tour. I did not play in the Pro Tour. My husband did, though. I was a side event queen, as I mentioned, so having a ton of fun playing Blitz and Commoner throughout the weekend. Currently on Dory QP and Blitz right now, and just loving that.
I love her.
Warrior's my other thing besides mech, and most people don't realize it, so she's amazing, honestly. Just so many people sleep on her, I think, in Blitz. Just an all-around threat hero. So, play-wise, I came back from there. I try to hit every major event that I can afford to get to or get the time off or sneak out of work for. So prior to that, I was in Memphis, and upcoming, it's going to be Vegas, US Nats. So looking forward to that.
I was about to ask.
I know, yes.
Are you going to be in Vegas?
Yes, and we should talk later about stuff we should do on Friday. Maybe costume-wise.
Right, we do need to talk about that.
We do need to talk about that, so shh to the listeners.
I feel like I'm missing out by not going
Spoilers.
to Vegas.
I know you are. You should come.
I told you to come.
Well, again, if somebody wants to sponsor a flight to the
We should
States.
just start a petition
too
online
late,
and find some sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah, GoFundMe.
I will shout out whatever advertisement you want on this podcast within reason.
We will shill it out all over every social media site.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I drink Sprite. No, I'm sorry.
You guys forgot your advertisement beverages.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I have a bottle of water.
There you go.
Speaking of shouting out, though, we do have a couple of little things that have gone on in our community recently. So, first of all, we're going to shout out Ellie, who has written for the mothership website. The flagship website? I don't know. For the main website, she has written a Prime to Fight article based on what you could be playing at your ProQuests for these upcoming weeks, and she's featuring Aurora and Slippy in these articles. Now, please note that Aurora is also pretty close to potentially Living Legend, so you want to get on that very, very soon. You can't cover your ears. You're wearing headphones.
I know, I'm still gonna try.
Is that what you're
I'm
on
in
right now?
denial
Is that what
about
you're
it.
playing?
Yeah, and I'm like in denial about it for right now because, I got a lot of messages. I finally switched from being a warrior player for 3 years to Aurora, and then of course now she's about to LL, and I'm like, no, don't talk to me about it. And I got like 3 messages on Monday being like, oh, how do you feel Aurora's almost gone? I was like, I have 3 finals in the next 24 hours. I can't process this information right now.
You're going
And I
through the
still
stages
have
of
not
grief
been
while you're
avoiding it.
trying to get
Yeah.
through with like your education. That's just too much.
Let me finish finals and then I can process this.
So what
loss.
stage of grief are you paused on right now? Like are you in denial? Yeah, I'm gonna feel
Yeah,
the same way. Like right
denial,
now, Dash is is she the closest? I think she's actually the closest right now. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
Dash IE,
Like-
but she's kind of on that slow march where I think Aurora is gonna easily outstrip her. So, but I'm still scared.
Yeah. There was a question in like a previous week where they're like, do you think Dash IE is ever going to hit Living Legend? I'm like, yeah, of course, because she's going to win like
course.
one ProQuest event like every other season.
Yeah.
And eventually
Exactly. She
get
won
there.
one already this season, and when I saw it, I wanted to like post it and be like, "Stop it!" Like little spray bottle, like don't do it. Like leave her alone. We need to band together.
I mean, everyone just play Dio instead. It's fine. Have fun with like
Exactly. Yeah, but then we'll
Yeah.
Living Legend her, and it'll be a problem. It'll be an all-around problem.
Yeah, for sure.
Only for us
sure.
Dash players. So
Yeah, I say as I haven't played Dash in like 2 years. Realistically, been playing.
it's my only
everything
CC
else.
deck. I play Dio, I play Dash A, and that's pretty much it in CC. In Blitz, I go around, but I don't know. I just can't break my loyalty there.
That's so valid. And we have one more shout out as well. Liv, who's commonly featured in the shout out section of our podcast. She had a little sit down ish interview with Arcane Games and Events, the AGE YouTube channel, with Bryce. So they go over a whole bunch of different topics like teaching people how to play, how to be good at teaching people how to play, also her experiences in the States, because I believe she's there currently at the moment as she goes to US Nets as well, I think. But yeah, so check out both of those. I'll put the links in the bio.
I have to say her voice is
Gosh.
just so soothing. Like she has a wonderful voice for a podcast. I know she does videos overall, but I'm just talking about like when I listen to her, it's just like instant blood pressure decrease.
Yeah, she's so relaxing.
Yeah.
It's
I
funny
know,
because
yeah.
like I've met her in person as well, and like her like she said herself she has like this sort of video essayist voice kind of thing, right? And then
It's so
like,
perfect for it.
and then it gets like a little bit more hectic and a little bit more like when you're just hanging out. So it's chill, it's great, but like you can tell as soon as the cameras turn on, like whereas
She's
like,
on. She's
I don't
ready
know
to go.
about y'all, I don't have that. I have like
I
a
mean,
phone voice if I'm serving customers, and that's about it.
I don't have a voice, but I have a personality, which is like very peppy right now. If Phil walked in, he'd be like, "Where is my surly wife?" Like you should have that resting bee face right now. And I'm all smiles when I'm on. Everybody's like, "Max is so friendly, she's just so always like happy," and I'm like, "Sure,
Sure, yeah.
yeah." It's like with the cat when it's all sad, like, "Sure."
I think I am just as like chaotic online and in person and wherever.
Yeah.
Kiki, but I also find that you have a really good podcast voice, Kiki.
Thank you.
I don't know. Maybe we just talk too much. But...
Like weekly, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, like daily, really. Yeah.
Well,
You guys should start a podcast. You know.
Oh, we've talked about it.
We've never actually started a podcast. Now that I think about it, in theory,
That is true, actually.
In theory, yeah.
It is technically true.
Time to get it
I
on
was
like
there
Spotify,
when this was
right?
started.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here when it started, but I wasn't a part of it per se.
You were like our second guest, right?
First guest.
First guest?
First guest on the third episode. And I only remember this
Yeah,
because...
and then it was...
I remember this because Yuki was like, I think I was the first guest. I'm like, no, it was me.
I knew it was either you or
Yeah.
Yuki. Those
Like,
were... Yeah.
Yuki, you're great, and you'll probably like have a higher ranking me in every tournament, but not when it comes to first guest of Pitch Perfect. That was me.
I think Kiki needs you to like officialize this with a plaque or something, to be able to put in the background. To
We
make
don't
it,
need
like,
we don't
really
need the
legit.
YouTube 1 million subscribers, though we are on the drive to 1 million subscribers.
I do have a laser cutter. I can make a really nice professional looking plaque. We could light it up and everything. So
Yeah. And it'll go underneath the little prism thing over there. There we go.
perfect.
Beautiful.
We're not actually here to talk about us, though. We're here to talk about you, Rachel. So,
I thought I was
you can talk
interviewing you.
about
I'm
this.
gone. Just kidding.
This is kind of how things kind of go. We have a structure
About to get
technically,
grilled.
but like, I don't know. I'll find a clip from this somewhere and I'll make a short out of it. But for you were one of the early adopters of cosplay as an art form in Flesh and Blood. What is it about cosplay that drew you in to begin with?
So it wasn't actually cosplay that drew me in. So Flesh and Blood was my first, I don't want to say true cosplay because I don't want to diminish like closet cosplays or things that I've done in the past, for Ren fairs and for anime conventions. But I didn't count myself as like one of those from scratch competitive type cosplayers. And I haven't even done closet dress up in probably a decade. So what actually drew me in was I played Dash like a maniac, like all over the Chicagoland area, to the point where it became like a local meme of like Rachel is Dash, you guys, you should maybe like cosplay her. And it just came up a couple of times and I kind of brushed it off. And then before they even announced, the contest at, which I think was New Jersey was the first one. I think it was a couple months before that. I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. Screw you guys. You're making fun of me. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to wear it to an event. And I started building it. And it was really like just the love of the character that made me want to do it, to see, could I recreate this outfit? It would be really funny to just show up and play one day. Could you imagine if I walked into an armory? Because I was just known for playing like 3 days a week, all Dash all the time, just obsessed with her. And so that's really what drew me in, was wanting to be a part of that. And then shortly thereafter, I started planning it. They announced the formation of the contest, the officialization of it all, the tailor, and that gave some additional motivation. I've said this before, it's probably not a story I've told in a long time, but when I started that costume, I think we were getting ready to go to Indianapolis for a calling, and that week I had to cancel last minute because I realized something was wrong with my dog. Very obsessed with her. She's my baby. And we found out that she had lymphoma, and kind of knew it was going to be bad, that we were going to try and save her. We went through a lot of time and tried to, get her healthy, and it didn't work out. And so I was really devastated when she passed, which was that summer. And so really the only thing got me out of that depression, honestly, was picking up that costume again and working through it, like right behind me here, which is where she always used to sit at my feet underneath this desk. And it just kind of, I had her bed next to me, even though it was empty. It was a little sad, but it just got me through it all. And then when I won the tailor at San Jose and it had the corgi on it, because she was a corgi mix, it just really made me smile, because it was like, she was like, I don't know, there. And so, I started because I love Dash. I found a passion for cosplay, and having, that motivation to just get myself out of the funk I was in really just pulled me through the rest of the way. And it became something I love.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And
Yeah, that's so special.
it's really cool that there is these sort of this nice coincidence, right? Maybe it's fate or whatever, that the reward you have signifies your relationship as well, with your loved pet. So
Yeah, it was at the time people wanted to buy the card for me when I was there, and I refused to sell the card. I was like, I'm never giving this up. I still have my very first. I play with it whenever I play UPF. I will never ever sell that card. It's my first, and it's just too special to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's kind of the cool thing about Flesh and Blood and like sentimentality of it. I have my first / only gold foil still, and that's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, like this game means something to us, right? And that's why we're all here, why we're so passionate about it. Yeah. Well, I'm just sad now, but like also
We're just no. This is a happy moment because also think about it. The first time I won a Taylor, that was the first time I met you in person, Kiki.
True. Whoa,
that was San Jose.
Oh
San Jose
shit! Yeah.
Yes. So that is a special day. I made so many friends that weekend that I still talk to, that I still see. I don't know if we officially met, Elaine, but the first time we were like near each other, technically, or at the same event was US Nats 23. That was the first time I wore that costume. It was 23, I think.
2022.
It was 2? Oh my god.
It was 2022. Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Yeah. Oh my
Isn't that crazy?
Don't say that.
So were you at Pro Tour New Jersey or
no? The plan was to go there, but with Apple being sick and going through her cancer treatment, we just couldn't make it. And I'm glad I didn't push myself to go to those events. We lost money, like so much money canceling everything. But at the end of the day, family is important, and events will be there. So I didn't get to go to that, so I wasn't there for the official first contest, but came in shortly thereafter.
Right. Yeah, because Indy was before.
It was the month or two before. It was like I think March, because it's like so close to us that if there's indie events, we almost automatically go. It's only like a 3.5 hour drive for us, so it's pretty easy to get to.
Yeah.
I was just.
Well. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just real quick. I was just thinking that. We can talk about this afterwards. Never mind. Just cut this part out. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Carry on.
I was gonna say, seeing how far cosplay has come, like from those early days of Pro Tour New Jersey and Nationals 2022, what about its growth have you appreciated the most?
I think for me, it's seeing so many new people come into it and find something new and exciting they love. I also just love seeing the pushing of boundaries, and the new creativity that's coming into it. I think one of the unique things about Fab, and one of the cool things in a way, is that most of the cosplayers we have aren't established cosplayers. I'll put it that way. Most of the people I meet that cosplay Fab, this is their first time cosplaying. They do it because, like me, they love a character or they love Fab, not because they're a cosplayer that also happens to like Fab. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying that it's kind of a strange twist in that when you go to like an event that usually has cosplay, it's people who have been cosplaying for X years or just love it in general, and then they do different characters. Whenever I'm buying like supplies at like Micro Center or something, because I get so many microcontrollers and lights, as most people know I love lights in my cosplay, they will always be like, so are you doing something besides Flesh and Blood this time? I'm like, heck no. We're around 15 and counting. But that's what I think is really cool about it, is seeing people grow with it in a very organic way, with their love of like the property, with their love of the characters and the storylines of Wraith. And it's just such a unique environment in that aspect of people just wanting to learn because they love the community and they love Fab. And it's really just, it's inspiring to see people grow like that.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. As someone who I'm a washed cosplayer at this point, but
there's no such thing as a washed cosplayer.
You're just on a break. You're on a break.
You're on a hiatus.
I've been on a hiatus for a bit.
Sabbatical, if you will. You're honing your energy.
Exactly. The comeback. The comeback's gonna be surreal.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Honestly, it's like I'm trying to get some cosplays together at US Nats, and it's like, when I used to cosplay prior to this, every time I made a cosplay, I've had like a house with yard space, or even just like an apartment with a balcony, or a complex with a space. Living in a New York City high rise is like, I don't know where, like, if I want to, I don't want to like fume myself, like trying to like do these builds. It is a new set of challenges, but besides the point of what I was getting to. He said, like, people just come into this game and, like, start cosplaying, not because they are established cosplayers, like most of them. And I totally agree with that, because I had the same experience in the game. Like, you started playing before I did. I started playing around the release of Everfest, and I've always been someone who just, like, loves dressing up and Ren fairs and everything, but never, like, crafting a cosplay or, like, mimicking a specific, I guess, aside from, like, Halloween, like, you know, making an outfit of a specific, like, person to wear. And it just, like, really drew me into the game. Like, my partner at the time, he played Flesh and Blood, and that's how I got into it. But I just remember, like, he introduced me to the game, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I saw, like, the Icelander card, which was my first cosplay. Yeah. But, like, he came home from work one day, and I was just, like, sitting on the counter in our bathroom, and I had, like, fully painted, like,
all the paint. I think I remember that picture of you.
And I had,
like,
a white wig on. Yeah.
I thought you posted something about that.
He was like, oh my
god,
you have to, like, put this on. Yeah, he, like, put it on Reddit and, like, Twitter, and, like, I think I, like, literally made my Twitter to post that because he encouraged me to a lot. But yeah, he just, like, came home, and I'm, like, sitting on the bathroom counter, like, painting my face, have this wig on.
I'm just impressed like, you could find opaque white eyeliner or whatever you were using, because that is just, like, the hardest to find for costuming.
Yeah, it was, like... Oh, it was really difficult to find. I think it was like a NYX brand.
Yeah, I've used like a lot of their stuff for random face paint, but
yeah, they have good
pro
like,
move.
Just like, what are you? I'm like, oh, I really like that game.
I
think I'm into the game.
I think Phil didn't believe that I was going to do something like that or cosplay or get back into it again after all those years of being away. And then he came home and I like had a rat tail wig on my head in the bathroom, like styling it. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to leave now. You know, he knew I was in this like emotional state. He's like, I'm not even going to like, whatever, you do you. And now he wishes he would have stopped me in that moment because his life is a miserable cosplay mess now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like something that was like so attractive that it was like, I want to try that. That person looks so cool. Like, I really just connect with this. So I do think that is a really cool aspect of it. And I agree that I love seeing like the innovation in cosplays that have evolved in the game. Like all the gender bent cosplays we've seen, for example, come out. I think it's really cool. I love the cosplay community in this game. Can't wait to get a little bit more involved.
Get back into it.
Yeah.
You know what? It's one of those things where you can go away, you can come back. It really is like a bike, truly. Like it never leaves. You always know how to hop back on.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the next question. Just abruptly, there was no segue there. Earlier on in the episode, I brought up that you are the judge at Flesh and Blood Worlds 2024. In addition to this, on more than one occasion, you've been given spoilers, usually with an accompanying cosplay to showcase with it. What does it mean to you to have this sort of recognition and trust from Legend Story Studios to help become part of the fabric of the game?
The short answer is... The short answer is everything. It means everything to me, and I'm going to try not to get emotional here. So actually I've judged twice, and the first one was Barcelona 23 Worlds, so it's 2 worlds in a row. I've skipped being in the contest, but that was the one where I
think you went undefeated.
-IO. Yeah. So yeah, Barcelona was the first time they asked me to be a judge, and that was when they asked me to actually play Dio and reveal the character. And it was so shocking to me. I had only been cosplaying about half a year, and James actually called me personally to ask about that. And that was just, it floored me, that he would take such a personal interest and a vested interest in something that I thought at the time, oh, I'm just a silly cosplayer, you know, I'm just some lady, you know, some old lady. That we'll talk about that a bit later, my self, you know, deprecation feelings. But it really just is so validating and makes me feel so appreciated when they reach out for those things. And as far as spoilers go, I've done 3 spoilers now. I did one for DTD where I was a herald for Reality Refractor. I did Dio, revealed the character, which was nothing will ever top that. Barcelona, getting to be the character, getting invited and sent halfway across the world, nothing can top that. I don't think LSS could ever. And then Kiss of Death back in January was a huge surprise for me because I hadn't been reached out to for a spoiler in about a year or so, which because, you know, they're trying to pass things around to other people, etc. So I just wasn't expecting anything, and then it dropped to my lap like the week before Christmas. I'm like, wait, I got all these messages from people saying like, oh, you've got a spoiler. I'm like, I do? Usually they reach out first and say like, do you want one? I think maybe there was like a mix up or something, and they just posted to the website first and didn't realize, but it was actually pretty funny because Carolina was like, you realize you have a spoiler, right? I'm like, no, stop. And I go look at the site, and it was so incredible. And then, you know, this will be the first time I reveal it, or maybe by then I'll have put a teaser out by the time this episode drops, but I do have a spoiler this season as well, so I am very excited. So when I mentioned 5/16 is a double special day, that is the day of my spoiler drop. I'm very excited. I can't say much about it, obviously. It is a spoiler. But if you know the class I'm most closely associated with, guys, then you know what class that card is for. So just going to leave it at that. Yeah, obviously. Obviously the Necromancer class. Yeah, so very, very excited. And it's a very challenging one. So intimidated, but always ready for the challenge. I really love it when they give me spoilers because it pushes me outside my comfort zone to just do something I hadn't expected, short amount of time. It's like a cosplay challenge.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The short amount of time is like really a crunch. Yeah. We have a spoiler. It's the 15th, and I'm kind of in that crunch time too for our spoiler. And also juggling finals, and it's like,
oh, so I know. With work for me, it's like I don't know like how I'm gonna get this done, but I always do. So when I got one, Phil's like, "Why?" Exactly. He's like, "I'm gonna personally call James and tell him to stop giving you spoilers because every time they do, you know, you wreck the house for 2 weeks." I'm like, "No, don't you dare tell him that."
James, if you're listening.
Yeah, James, if you're listening, Phil does not
Rachel
speak
spoilers.
For me. And I love the challenge, and he loves the messy house. Oh, so hi.
Let's see.
Also, hi, James.
Exactly. As if he's watching. He probably is.
Maybe the solution is to give Phil his own pod. Spoiler. I hope so. It's at least surely one of his top 50 Flesh and Blood podcasts.
It's definitely one of the top. Did you say 50?
Yeah. I need him to post like his Spotify rap and see us.
That would be so
on
funny.
The top, you know.
That'd be so good.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah, don't give Phil a spoiler. He'd just forget to post it. Don't do that. Nobody should ever give him anything. But yeah, it really means so much. It's so special
when when LSS is just such an amazing company, and I love hearing stories about this where they really do just like pay attention to the community and like highlight people who deserve to be highlighted. Like your cosplays are just beyond anything I can imagine. Like they are incredible. You are so deserving of that. It's really cool to hear that James like called you personally and everything. I had really not similar, but kind of similar, I guess, after Pro Tour New Jersey when I cosplayed Icelander, that very first cosplay of mine. Uprising was coming out, and you know, we had the Everfest, and then we got the new Icelander, and James had like, he emailed me, and I didn't reveal the hero, I just revealed like a wizard card, but he like personally emailed me and asked if I would reveal one of the wizard cards because of my Icelander cosplay. That was really, it wasn't like I was introducing the hero or anything. The hero came out before that, but it's just like, it's so cool and special when they do things like that and just like recognize your work. You just so deserve that. And
I really couldn't believe it. It was at Pro Tour Baltimore when I did the mech that I ran into him on Sunday after the contest, and I had the mech hand with me because I was showing it to some people and putting it up at my friend's booth. And he like stopped and said hi, and then he was like, "Hey," he's like, "I gotta talk to you soon about something." And then we were talking about cosplays, and I go, "Oh yeah, I'm making Data Doll for Vegas. You know, the last time US Nats was in Vegas." He's like, "Very interesting. Big things are happening with her." And I was like, "Whoa!" For him to like say that to me, random idiot on the street, number one. And he said, "You know, we should talk. Like, let's get in touch. Can I message you later?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then, you know, like a month later or so, I had the DTD spoiler, which shocked me. I never had a spoiler. I'm like, I'm not a content creator. I'm an idiot who's made 2 cosplays. And then it kind of made sense. Like maybe it was like a setup to see, could I handle like that? I don't know if that was the case, but it kind of felt like that. Like, let's see how she does with this. But, and then shortly thereafter, I got the message from him saying, hey, can we chat? You know, I want to set up a call and let's talk about something. Need you to sign some paperwork first before that. Because clearly, you know, showing me like a whole new hero was a big deal and I had to make sure, you know, we take it very seriously. But him putting that much personal like effort into something that most people would probably think is kind of so beneath his level was just really, I don't know, it felt wonderful, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love when they recognize just like cosplayers, like you are a content creator. I feel like that gets like missed a lot. I feel like that's a thing that cosplayers just will struggle with. Be like, oh, I'm not, I don't know, a cosplayer, or even that gets pushed on to cosplayers, and I hate.
Oh,
that
definitely.
sentiment.
Like
I
I know.
Yeah.
I've talked with Carolina about this before a couple of times. That we've both gotten some comments from people before. You know, we don't take them to heart because that's, you know, rude comments are rude comments. You just dismiss that, you know. But from people that say things like, oh, who's that? Just some cosplayer. They're not a content creator. Why'd they get a spoiler? Losers, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? People really seem to enjoy our spoilers and the stories we put out in the costumes. And I have people reach out before spoiler season often say, do you have one? Do you have one? I really want to see what you do. So clearly people enjoy it. And you know what? That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like 1,000%.
I mean, the work to like throw together a cosplay in like the very short amount of time that you have to plan your spoiler and create it and film it and shoot it and edit it and upload it is just like so beyond what I think most people can even realize how much work that is.
It's like
so,
a full-time job on top of my
deserving.
full-time job, like 40-hour weeks already.
Yeah.
And I have I think a photo shoot next Saturday. So it'll be my first time actually having a real photographer do something for my spoiler. So I'm really excited to see what he does. It's all about like the flesh and blood community. I had this gentleman approach me at the Chicago event this past winter, gave me his card and said, you know, I'm a fan. I like your work. Like, would love to work with you to do a photo shoot. So I like take his card and I lost it for a little while. I'm like, Phil, where did I put that card? I looked him up and I look up his stuff. I'm like, oh my God, his work is so fantastic. You know, like it is just so good. I'm like, if, you know, this photo shoot is even half of what he does, I'm going to be thrilled. Like, so excited to work with him.
That is super exciting. Congratulations. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be super exciting.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it. This episode should come out before your spoiler does, so the stuff.
Yeah, it should. It'll
We're
probably
talking
be
about
like
this
the
kind
week
of
before,
relevant,
maybe
yeah.
just before. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually like mid, so we're looking like 7th, 8th, maybe 9th.
Oh yeah, it'll be
Don't
before
quote me
my
on that
shoot
if we get it
even is,
wrong.
so
Oh, there you go.
I'll be working my fingers to the bone at that point, crying in the corner trying to get it done. You know? But that's just part of the process. It's the creative process.
And I was just saying,
Cheers.
like, yeah, no, like, this cosplay situation that people like y'all, Caroline, and others have put themselves in is like 1000% like content creation. The amount of work you have to put in there is arguably more than what we do here, like, realistically. Not that it's even a comparison, but like, in terms of like it being content, like, you're bringing these characters to life. Like, you're telling a story that expands beyond the card into like our real world, and like, you know, it's little details that y'all add to the costumes that help add to the story and bring this character to life. So the argument that it's not content is bullshit. I'm just not gonna mince words there. If you say that this isn't
appreciate
content
that.
creation, then you're wrong.
And honestly, you know what? The people that have been most welcoming, at least to me, in the sphere of content creation have been the content creators themselves. Everyone that I've ever interacted with, when I've told them what some people have said, you know, or what the mean comments I've seen, they're like, they would stop me and say the same thing. They're like, you put in probably more hours than I've ever put in on my show pod, whatever it is. You know, I know what it takes to not know, but like, they're like, I can guess what it takes to go in behind the scenes. I mean, like, Viserai hanging over my shoulder like a creep here was like 300 hours. So, you know, now granted, I don't think I have 300 hours for my spoiler costume. It's going to be a little simpler than that, but it is a lot of work that goes in. It's just people don't get to see it in the background. And I'm trying to be better about that. Trying to get more like footage and things that I can share. It's just, when you're trying to work fast, it's hard to set up the camera, get your makeup ready, and look good. You know? I don't want to throw on lashes every time I want to glue my hands together at the table. So
That's so real.
Yeah.
I look like, the same person when I'm with full
Just
craft
hair
mode, so
everywhere. Like, literally, we came back from London and we were at a wedding for Phil's family. Mind you, that's like a week and some change later. He looks at me and goes, "You have something in your hair." I go, "What's in my hair?" And mind you, like, how many times have I washed my hair between London and then? And he picks it out and I go, "Ow, it's super glue in my bangs that I hadn't noticed for an entire week." It was like somehow hiding in this like weird little spot of my bangs. Like, I don't know how I did that, but I'm like, just cosplay things. You know?
Yeah. I was like green for like a week after I did Embodiment of Earth. Then like go back to work and I still had like green. I was like, well, we're wearing. Good thing it's winter.
So I'll continue my streak of not doing body paint. That's for sure.
Yeah. But like most of it, like I used 2 different body paints, and like the green that I used all over my body came off, but I had used like a darker green to do like kind of the body art that is on the image, and that green did not come off. So it was like I just looked like I was covered in like green tattoos.
Speaking of tattoos, I'm a little concerned because I'm having to get creative with my spoiler. I'll tell you guys that. I will tell you it's not really a hint about what it is, but just in general, the art does not have a person on it. So there's not a cosplay to go with it. So I'm having to get creative with what I do and how I feature what's on this card. And so I am picking a character that has been featured on another card that's not part of this previous card. And there are a lot of tattoos involved. You guys might already guess what I'm using, but I will have fake tattoos up to my neck somewhere in Milwaukee, and my friend and I want to go to dinner after, who's going to be helping me with this. So I'm like, I don't know how, bring the baby wipes, but I don't know how we're going to get all these fake piratey tattoos off my body. Like, it's going to be really bad. So
Just wear a turtleneck for one night.
I know. I think I am. It's like spring in the Midwest, so maybe it'll be like 20 degrees or it could be 80. No clue. But body paint wise, I remember when Carolina painted herself green for New Zealand, and she was judging, and she came up to me and I was dressed as Hala Goldenhelm, so I had this like really silver armor, and she was very impressed by, we'll just call them my booby plates. You know, she's like, "Those look so good," you know, and she's like, "How did you get them so, you know, like firm," you know, like, and I'm like, "Firm." I'm like, "Yeah, you know, give them a whack." And she goes, "What?" And I said, "Punch them." I was like, "I guarantee they won't dent. I reinforced the backs with Warble. I want you to test as the judge my booby plates." So she starts doing these little like taps with her knuckles. Remind you, they're green, but then really starts getting at him. Like, she couldn't dent him. Like, harder, and people are just starting to watch. She's like Reinar punching my boobs. And after like that night was over, I get back to the hotel room trying to take my stuff off, and I hold up, and there's knuckle prints in green across the front. Hollow Golden Helm's boobies. It was great.
Oh my god, that is so funny.
Memories.
See, if that's not content,
so
I don't know
funny.
what is. Like,
That's content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I wish we had it on
that's
video. Like, I
content.
wish we had a short of that of just her like whack, whack, whack. No.
it's just, you know, just
I think
living embodiment of the Rhino versus Dorinthia, like.
It actually was
yeah.
like, it's like the deck, you know? Yeah, exactly. It was a very what was it called? It wasn't epic battles. It wasn't legendary battles, something like that.
Classic battles?
classic
Battles.
Classic.
It was
Despite
a true
being
classic
Bloodstacks.
battle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
It's a true classic battle. Reinar versus
That
Hala
is-
Goldenhelm's breastplate. Lady Reinar.
That's amazing.
If you ever wonder how equipment blocks, we figured it out.
We figured it out.
Well, we've talked a lot about the past of cosplay, you know, what you've been up to, how it's kind of evolved and stuff. What kind of hopes do you have for the future of cosplay?
Well, first of all, definitely want to see it expand. People come in, get excited, try something new. I get a lot of messages from people who, you know, are, I would say, known names in the gaming community, like as far as like players that you wouldn't expect to be contacting me, saying like, "I'd love to try a cosplay sometime." And I love that. I get really excited when I get that, because it's like really inspiring that they want to try something new and reach out and are getting like excited because they see us doing it. So that's what I want to see, is definitely like more people getting involved. The other thing I'd like to see is definitely, you know, we have a very competitive focus sometimes in the community. So this is more of like a wish for world peace, but I see so much sometimes stress within the community, like, because I'm behind the scenes in like the discords and different things, and people worrying about their costumes and, "Oh, will the judge like this? You know, will this get me extra points? You know, this and that." And I want to just put it out there, you know, as a former judge, as somebody that's done a lot of cosplays, been through a lot of judging, that the most fun I've had in cosplay has had nothing to do with the competition. Some of the most fun times I've had were showing up when there wasn't a competition and just hanging out with my friends. Like Carolina and I last year for Tampa, which was Rosetta World Premiere, we just contacted each other, said there's no contest. Let's do a costume together. And it was so fun. We didn't need a contest to get out there and have fun with the community, and people just ate it up. They thought we were actually paid to be there. They thought LSS hired us, and we're like, no, we're just here being our silly selves. And so what I would just say is I would love to see the community not, also grow, but grow in the way that we're seeing more people come to events that don't have contests, because those are usually the really big events and such. And I just love it when I see people show up that aren't just me and Carolina, because usually it's just us two at a smaller event if we are there dressed up. But sometimes we're getting more people just for fun dressing up, and I want to see more of that, more leaning into the play aspect of cosplay in the community and less stress, because it starts to sap at some of that joy, and I don't want people to feel stressed about an activity that should be fun. And sometimes I think you let it get to you, and I can be guilty of that too. I mean, I'm competitive, it's my nature, but like I said, the most fun times I've had is coordinating with my friends, and I'll be messaging you about Vegas, so let's talk. But hey, what are you wearing on the off days, or what are you doing for this event that doesn't have cosplay contest, and just playing around, being goofy with it. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just like dressing up, I like, as I call it, I like customizing my avatar. I have so much fun just being in a costume.
Were you like me? Were you the one dressing up all your dolls when you were little in all sorts of outfits and cutting their hair?
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly. I
mixing and matching.
I love doing that. I remember Tampa. I was in the cosplay I did for the reveal of Etchings of Arcana. Y'all were in Fiendel's Fighting Spirits, right?
That was it.
The two of them, yeah.
The old and the new, and that was fun. We did.
Yeah.
It was most people aren't doing that. They aren't showing up, or I'll see people say, "Oh, I was working on a cosplay, but now there's no contest." Well, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna make this. And I'm like, come on, let's have some fun. Show up, bring it with. Now I get it. If there's no contest, I'm not gonna bring something like this that I can't play in. That's gonna make me walk around like the Tin Man, on crack and caffeine, But I will bring something casual and fun. And so I get people wanting to know if there's a contest because they want to know, should I bring the crazy thing I can't play in? But if there's not, still think about bringing it if it's wearable, if it's something that you're going to enjoy yourself in. Don't feel like you can't, or that people will judge you, and be like, oh, it's so weird, there's no contest in the show. Nobody ever said that. It's the opposite. It's people running up to you going, oh my god, I didn't think there would be cosplayers here, can I get a picture? So
yeah. I mean, I'm bringing at least 2 to Vegas, or hoping to bring at least 2 to Vegas. We'll see. It's kind of crunch time for everything in my life right now. But
I hear you so much. I feel you.
Honestly, I'm we'll see. We'll see how far they get, and I'll decide if I want to participate in the cosplay contest or not. I probably will end up doing it, but I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of I might just want to
just hang out in cosplay.
Not have
it's
the
a whole other
level
of pressure and stress sometimes to be in the contest.
Is.
I try to tell people that. I'm don't feel like you're missing out unless you really want to get on stage. You don't have to,
Yeah, I just don't know. It depends where these.
You know what the nice thing is? You can usually sign up until I think it used to be Thursday night, but now they've moved it to Wednesday to get prepped earlier. So if there is one, because they've said that there is one. I've seen it a couple places, but they haven't put anything officially out there yet. I'm sure it'll get posted. I'll ping somebody this week and see if I can get somebody to post it. But ultimately, you do have time, and so I'd say that to anybody out there listening that's I'm not sure, will I, won't I? Bring it with, see how you feel. You've got until Wednesday night to fill out the little form. It takes all of 5 minutes to it doesn't cost you a dime, So I would say, don't feel pressured to do it, but also don't feel like you can't. So that's my message.
Yeah.
Go with the flow.
Yeah. We did have another discussion question.
Giving me a side eye there, Kiki.
No, it's just that we had another question, but you've already answered it functionally, which was, do you have any future products that you could perhaps tease or hint at?
I didn't tease it though.
I guess
you
so.
Want me to tease it? And I talked about one of them, so I've got 2 as well.
Yeah,
if I can finish the other one, because the fact that I have a spoiler and it's a little complex, you guys will get it when you see it. What I had to make. is eating into my other costume. But I have been getting a lot of messages from the community since Teklovasen that they miss me doing mech cosplays. They're like, I thought you used to be a mech cosplayer. What happened? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to branch out and do different things. And, also, I had people asking for a while, like, hey, they would reach out to me, people in the community, and say, are you doing XYZ mech costume anytime soon? Because they wanted to know, they were trying to defer to me to not step on toes. And I'm like, hey, anybody can cosplay anything, but I will defer and not cosplay this hero or that hero that's mech. And so if I can get it done on time, we'll be bringing my first time in a while mech costume to Vegas. Maybe based on a recent armory deck, just saying. I don't know. I just have a thing about gender bending lately. And maybe it's not gender bending because I love dressing up as male characters lately. I don't know why. I'm just on a kick for it. So, we're going to take down the system at Vegas. I'm looking forward to it if I can get it done.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah.
It's an interesting choice to name.
Okay, we have... We have some listener questions. The first one comes from...
Do we want to do the segment?
Before that, we actually prepared a special segment just for you.
So nervous.
Okay, so basically what we
Am I
want
about
to
to
do
get roasted here?
No, you're not
No.
who's the roast one? Somebody was...
It was Scott.
Scott, we had the roast.
Howling Minds, yeah.
And that was unintentional. But...
It was just natural.
Yeah, we kind of try to get them to guess their own work. Which is honestly kind of similar for you. So, for each person that comes on here, we try to have like a specific segment that we kind of do for them. And for you, we have a little contest quiz sort of situation. And it's called Did It Win a Taylor? So, with
oh my god,
a quick
this is going
little
to be a
thank
dagger
you.
into my heart.
You're
You're going to pull out the ones that didn't win that make me sad. Oh my god.
Quick thank you to Lynette from Shapeshifters of Wraith for helping me to find it and resource the things here. We're going to be listing an event and a cosplay, and you have to let us know, did it win a Taylor?
And these are my cosplays or somebody else's?
This is across. You may be involved, you might not be.
Okay. Let's do it.
Well, we can start pretty easy though. Fairly recent. So we're going to go with Pro Tour London 2025. Verdance, as played by Carlotta. Now, did this win a Taylor?
Yeah. It did, for accuracy.
There we go. See?
Ding, ding, ding.
Not so hard, knows it?
Shout out to Carlotta, one of my girls.
She's been doing it for a little while now too, right? Like, I've seen her in quite a few cosplays now.
Yeah, her first, I think, was Shiana. I judged it at Barcelona 2023.
Oh.
Or 2024?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
23.
remember that
It's 23. I'm losing time.
Well, that's actually really convenient because the next question is World Championship Barcelona. Brevant, as played by Esser. Did that win a Taylor?
That one, first place. Yes, Taylor. The cosplay was so amazing.
Yeah,
that was so good.
I was spending not the whole last night, but like 3 hours last night going through all the different cosplays events that I could find. And just seeing some talent. Amazing. Let's take it closer to home to me. So this is Melbourne 2023. And we have a gender-crossed Bravo played by Sam.
I know I've seen this one and it's amazing. But I think I remember who won, and I think this was when they only had one Taylor back then. So I hope I'm not insulting this costume if I say it didn't win a Taylor, and it did, because I thought Carolina won that one for one of her Angel cosplays. I could be wrong though.
Correct. That wasn't
the one with the skull. I forget which Angel that is, but you should know as an illusionist player.
It was Victoria.
Rebirth.
Yeah. Oh, was it Victoria? I can't remember. And the name, but yes,
it was the one with the
Rebirth
angel, or with like the fairy wings Rebirth. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also know because I was there in the pictures. I remember for that event, she was like, I don't have a rock to sit on. And I'm like, I could be the rock. And she's like,
yes,
okay.
I remember that. Yes, but
So,
I do
like,
want to say that Bravo was amazing, and I would like to see that cosplayer pull a Valda one of these days, because they are fit.
She actually mentioned in her personal post about that Bravo that she was looking to do Valda. So Now that we have an adult one, like
Nice.
Sam, it's on you.
Yeah. Want to see it,
Yeah.
Sam. Go for it.
Now, sticking to Oceania, this one you may or may not have come across, but in New Zealand Nationals 2023, we have Prism, as played by James White's mother.
I am going to go on a limb and say no, because I don't know if she would have even entered from a standpoint of conflict of interest. Maybe she did. I don't know if Claire actually entered, and I would say no because I believe, what's his name? Arachne won that one.
So the Arachne won the calling in Auckland. This was a trick question. There
calling in
was there was no cosplay
contest,
contest.
was there? No, because wasn't that?
But she did cosplay
Bravo
as
show?
Prism.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know she
you're
did because
right.
Lynette's got the costume. Yeah, and I think Oosh showed up as Bravo at that time. Yeah.
Exactly.
So.
100%.
So wholesome.
Your memory is so good for this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like-
this is crazy.
I'm just
Because
obsessed with cosplay and
Yeah.
the people in it. So it's like my celebrity thing. Like when people are like celebrity watchers, I'm like, no, I'm a cosplay watcher, but in non-creepy way, I swear. So.
We have this in like reverse, like chronological order. So, yeah. After that one, we are going to like the Calling Singapore 2023, and we have Genus as played by Matilda.
Genus won the Taylor.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I know.
See, you're so good at
I
this.
feel confident.
Well, what about Proto Baltimore 2023, Typanus by Jonathan?
I believe Jonathan actually got a Taylor, but he didn't win. He came in second to my Mechanoid. But I
Onto
believe the top three got Taylors. Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I just knew that you were the winner.
So it's a
of
trick
that one.
question. Yes, he got a Taylor.
Yeah. It was a trick question on me this time.
Lynette being cheeky.
Well, is this one like I just saw the standings and like it didn't say who got the Taylor, it's just that there was Taylors for the winner. So I'm like, yeah, okay, it must have gone to you. But there we go. And one more to go. We have U.S. Nationals 2022. Dash by you.
Did not get a Taylor.
Do you know who did?
Elaine and I forget his name, but he did the Null Rune set.
See, you did.
You did it.
You got them all right.
Wow, see, you got like a perfect score.
It's not very
Yeah,
often.
I-
Like this.
Beautiful.
I don't know if there's a contest I don't know the winner, actually. I think I know all of
That's
them
really
that have ever
impressive.
happened.
The No Rune set was done by Adam, also.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name, but Null Rune guy. That's what we called him. So Null Rune guy got it.
Yeah, No Rune guy.
I was gonna say like, normally I put in one trick question just to throw them off, but even you didn't fall for that one. So
Nope.
you are
Can't still be on
arguably
it.
the best performing special guest segment that we've had.
I was like, I thought for a second when you were saying it, that was going to be like my costumes, which one won or didn't, so you could just shame me on the ones that didn't win. Like, let's drive the
No.
knife in.
No.
Although that last one did drive the knife in a little, but I did come back swinging at San Jose to capture a Taylor, so with that costume.
You did. Yeah, you did.
I had to make sure there was at least one
Ew.
event mentioned where you won, even if you weren't like the answer per se, you know?
Yeah, but it was a trick question, so there you go.
Yeah, but I didn't know that at the time.
I tricked you.
Yeah, exactly. It got switched up, and that's kind of what we do here. No, I don't know. Yeah, that was the Max Ferocity specific segment, the Rachel segment. So thank you for playing along with that. And now I believe we have listener questions.
Let's do it.
Yes, we have listener questions.
Yeah.
Okay, our first one comes from 3floating at 3floating.bsky.social. 3floating asks, what's the most challenging piece you've ever made for a cosplay, and what makes you keep coming back for more despite all those challenges?
So, my first answer to this, because I'll give two answers. I'll give the real one and the cheeky one I always give. So the cheeky one is that every time I get asked this question, the answer is my next piece. Like, because it's true. Anything you haven't done is your biggest challenge usually, especially. I will say the spoiler card I received will probably be my biggest challenge to date, especially with time-wise. But as far as past challenges go, it's usually the most recent thing. So I have it here, and fair warned, it broke in transit.
Oh no.
I need to fix the connection point on it. It's like kind of sitting off a little bit right now, but it'll get fixed. But this is the Nebula blade that goes with Viz here. So this one was my hardest so far for multiple reasons. One, this is a very thin blade segment, and it has no internal support on it for the lighting because it's transparent. And just a lot of this like carving and such. I'm not very experienced with 3D modeling, and so this was a challenge to get done. I think I designed this in about 3 days, printed it, and made it in about a week. So, but right now it's like the way it goes together.
So that's 3D printed?
This is 3D printed. So the way it goes together is this actually like inserts in and plugs in, and there's magnets in here in the hilt, but part of the pole inside of here that supports the magnet got broken in transit on the way there. And so to get it home, I had glued it before the competition. I had to break it to get it home. But I wanted to light it up and show you guys anyway roughly what it looks like. I know there's photos out there of it live at the contest, but this was probably the most difficult to date. And I plan to fix a couple things on the design and reprint it just so I can have a better version of it should I want to wear this again anytime soon. So
It is beautiful. Like, it draws your eye to it. Not only because of the
Yeah.
lights, because of the details, of course, and all that. But like,
oh yeah, for sure.
like that cosplay in
falling
particular, you
over
can tell
here.
you like.
So ashamed. So ashamed of it falling apart, but yeah. So yeah, everything's the hardest, you know, when you haven't done it before. Like even this, I've never done leatherworking to this extent before. I've been leatherworking for a year now. And when I told people I was going to try this, they're like, you've done some minor stuff. Are you crazy? Like the guys at the shop I go to were like, you're going to make that. And you've like only done minor corsetry and stuff. I'm like, yeah. And all of these carvings probably took about 150 hours all told. This actually, I'll pull this off a little bit. It's just held on by a needle right now, but I don't know if you could see it in the camera, but this is like all over every piece of that costume all the way down to the shoes, like all this leather carving. So
That's so crazy.
it was hard, but definitely so, you know, future things will be harder because it's just a new challenge.
You gotta keep on pushing yourself.
Yeah, this is not a listener question. This is just from me. How did you how did you travel all the way to London with these pieces? Because that's so crazy.
This is actually the easiest yet to travel with, and there's a big reason I did it in leather because people are like, are you nuts? Why did you not do that in foam? You know, blah blah blah. You could have saved all that money, that time. And I said, because I got so tired of coming back with damaged stuff. Like, I know I'm a foam queen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm known for my foam working. Like, even one of my happiest pieces, Teklovas in here, he has damage on the back. There's dents and dings, which works for him. You know, maybe he was battle damaged, but a lot of stuff just gets so damaged and it makes me sad. And also foam just doesn't last over time with UV exposure and different things. It starts cracking and having problems. I'm like, I'm spending, like, that was like 350 hours for him. You know, will I even get to wear it again before it deteriorates? So I said, I want to do something that lasts, that can get dinged, banged, thrown around in my suitcase. And yeah, this is one of my first cosplays that fit all in one suitcase. So I was able to actually squish it in, pack it in, and any dents that come out on the leather, I'm usually able to work out like a rag and a tool. So, and I can just keep oiling it, and it smells great.
Yeah,
if you like the smell of leather. Sorry, I'm
remember
saying this in
your
front of
cosplay too. Like every time I see one of your big massive cosplays, I'm just like, how did you travel with that? I'm also someone I refuse to check a bag, so everything just has to fit in a carry-on or I'm
oh
not
my god,
bringing it.
like we have a picture somewhere, and I don't think I ever posted it, but it's of me laying on my cases from when they sent me to Barcelona. I was like, are you serious? They wanted me to bring the mech, Datadel, and Dash.io. I'm like, you're serious? I had to disassemble the mech, cut it apart, and reassemble it in my hotel room with glue and sadness. And it was in this giant bin that I could lay on. I'm about 5'4", and I literally could lay on my side like this. And we have pictures of Phil dragging this thing. It weighed 80 pounds. We had to like have an overage fee, all the fancy tagging, go to the special luggage area, and then we still had 3 cases, full-size luggage cases, top out size to travel with that. So the answer is very badly if we travel with it. And I will tell you that for Worlds this year, I already have my costume picked. I could always change my mind though. But if I do what I'm doing for Worlds, I'm going to do what I did for, Baltimore again, where I drove like a madwoman 13 hours in each direction because I wanted to bring the mech at the time and it was too big to take in any suitcase. So yeah, I've got something planned that's pretty large and I don't plan to try and put it in like 50 suitcases. So I'm going to drive to Philly.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
The cosplay that I wanted to do for US Nats, I was like, oh, you know what? I could take a train to Worlds this year, and this will be easier because like has a pretty large piece to it. I was like, that'll be easier, so I'm saving it for Worlds just to avoid flying with it. And it's really not even big compared to anything that you flew with.
The problem isn't the size of the costume, it's just that it's armor, and it doesn't, like, if you squish it you damage it. Like, the genesis of this came from when I did what was my costume at Worlds? I'm asking you guys. Like, I don't even know my own costume. Diadic Carapace.
Diadic Carapace.
That was used for the picture.
Yeah.
And all those little points and spikes on that were foam. And they got so damaged and bent in that I never got to compete in that. So actually, Worlds, I was not meant to judge. I was not asked ahead of time to judge, but the judge for craftsmanship last minute couldn't make it. I got talking to them. I agreed to judge last minute and drop out of the competition. So that costume has never been run. I could enter in a competition anytime I want, but it's so damaged that the amount of work it would take to redo it makes me sad because I just don't think I'll ever get around to it. So that was me saying, like, never again. Never again unless I have to use foam. Will I use foam? So for year end, I'll use foam because it's so big it needs to be lightweight. But besides that, the rest of the year, I'm using all different materials to try new things.
And that's part of the challenge.
And then when it gets damaged in transit, you don't even have, like, the fun story of, like, Carolina punching the breastplate.
Exactly. Like, that's fun damage, you know, the knuckle prints and everything. This kind of stuff just makes me sad. You know, my sword is lying in half on the ground and I can't fix it without remaking it. But you know what? It's okay. Like, I tell myself maybe I'll remake it. I'll fix this one and I'll just put one on a wall and maybe I'll give one away as a raffle or for something for a good cause. You know, like somebody can have one that's not good for cosplay but good for a wall or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Our next listener question comes from Scott, Howling Minds at howlingminds.com. I think that's on Bluesky.
Yes, that is. Yeah.
But Scott asked, "Howdy, Max. I hope you're well, and I was wondering if you had any tips regarding body confidence. I know numerous aspiring cosplayers who would love to take the stage, but just can't shake the fear of being judged. Thanks so much."
Yeah, so this one really definitely like struck a chord and touched me when I saw it. It's something I have had on my mind for a while. So, you know, I'll just preface by saying I lack a lot of body confidence, and I've put myself out there now. Like I said, I think it's been 15 times that I've gone out in costume at a fab event or for a spoiler. And so, you know, you're probably saying then, well, how did you get to that point? You know, a lot of what goes on sometimes with our body image is in our heads, but that doesn't make it any less valid as an emotion. Some of that's been reinforced by cruel people throughout our lifetime. I will tell you, without going too much into the things I don't like myself, because I don't want to get down that negative path, that the first time I dressed as Dash, I was grateful that we were still wearing masks at that point. Not because, you know, the health thing, I mean, yes, that was important too, but I was like thinking to myself, oh, everybody's gonna be like, look, it's Grandma Dash. You know, I'm almost 40, and I know I don't look like an 18-year-old mechanologist kid running around. You know, I'm not a size 0. And I think having that mask helped me hide behind it a bit. But after that, you know, I had to start breaking out and realizing that I can't hide behind something every time. For me, it was actually other people that helped me get out of this. And I know that's not always the answer, but I'll tell you this. Whatever you feel about yourself, a lot of times is internalized. I spent a lot of my life getting made fun of for my appearance, from whether it was family who thought they were making helpful comments about it, you know, and inadvertently being cruel, or, you know, people at school, you know, saying something about me. And for me, the biggest turning point in my life for appearance, both at the positive and the negative, it was hard getting into cosplay because I'd see my pictures everywhere and I would judge them and I'd be like, God, you look so hideous. You look so bad. You know, I can't believe you took that picture. Oh my God. But then so many people seem so happy to take a picture with me, to post it. They're like, oh my God, the amazing Rachel, Max, whatever. I'm so excited to meet her and have a picture, that it made me realize that that's not how other people perceive me. And if they do, I don't want to be, you know, be around those people, you know? Those people don't matter in what I do. What matters is the joy that this hobby brings me and what I can put out there in the world and enjoy with my community. So what I would tell you is that I can't tell you, you know, you can't feel that way. Don't be down on yourself, because those are valid feelings. You know, you feel them no matter what. But at the end of the day, I can tell you that when you're putting yourself out there, people love it. They really do. Every single cosplayer I've ever seen has always had people coming up to them for pictures. It's just a joy in the community when you're out there. When people get to see their favorite character, you're bringing something wonderful to their day. And don't let, negative comments that you've had in your past or what you feel about yourself sometimes that might be wrong, because you are a beautiful person, hold you back from getting to experience something really, really cool and a connection to the community. The most friends I've made in my lifetime have been through Fab, and a lot of it came from cosplay, because I would have never had the confidence to introduce myself to people. People coming up to me because they like the costume I made has sparked friendships. That has been a long time. I know Kiki, you and I have known each other since San Jose because you came up to me, introduced yourself. And if I had let my nervousness keep me in that hotel room that day back in, was it Charlotte at Nationals, I would have never gotten to experience that. So don't let those feelings hold you back. Put yourself out there. It is hard. I know it. And sometimes there are going to be, sorry to swear on your pod, assholes that, are cruel, and you can't stop them. But there are assholes everywhere out in the world and in life, and don't let them steal something from you that could be amazing. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And I guess maybe not leave it at that. I'll add one more thing. I don't want anybody to ever be nervous or feel like from the competition side that they would be judged for not looking like their character. We're all different shapes, sizes, genders. You cosplay what you want to cosplay. No judge is going to take into account your physical appearance when you go out there. It's all about the craft you bring, the excitement you bring, and portraying your character emotionally and through energy. So on the competition side of things, don't worry about looking like Dash or looking like Bravo. It doesn't matter. As a judge, I can promise you that. So put yourself out there, put your best foot forward, and be open to the experience. That's what I would say.
That's beautiful.
I told you I'd cry. Shouldn't have worn
Thank
contacts.
you, though, for being so open. Yeah.
I appreciate that answer a lot. There's a lot of vulnerability that comes with putting yourself out there, regardless of what you're doing. If you're putting yourself out in front of people, it's hard. So it's important that people kind of see that this affects even those kind of at the top of the game, let's say, these kind of factors can affect anyone. And I think you've done a good job of explaining how it goes through everyone and they experience it, but also how little it kind of matters in the grand scheme of things almost, like you said, because you're able to put yourself out there, you're able to fight through any negativity, whether it comes internally or externally, through building relationships and friendships by being involved. And
I would also just add for the broader community, and I hope we never deal with this here. I haven't experienced in Fab, I've experienced in other places in my life, but if you are ever said something cruel to your face at a thing, or you've heard it, or you hear somebody talking about somebody else in a way that's inappropriate, that transcends beyond just gameplay banter or whatever, that's talking about their appearance negatively in a very inappropriate way for our community rules, please tell somebody about that. We don't want that type of behavior in the community. At the end of the day, it's up to the TOs, judges, whatever, to make final decisions on those types of things. But don't be quiet, stand up for others if people in the community are bringing negativity to our game, and just, make sure to alert people if it's becoming something that goes against, the explicit stated rules of Fab and community behavior. So that's, I would just add that too.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So that was supposed to be the last question, but I figured there's a chance we might need to brighten things up just before
lighten things up a little. Now that we took
bit.
It down.
Yeah, a very important conversation to have, but if there's one listener that we can always count on to put a smile on our faces, we have Alex Drakai of Scarlet Wind at deviledeggswith3.bsky.social. Social. And they say, howdy everyone, love to see so many creatives together. With so many alts for cards like Sink Below or Tunic springing up, intentional? What card do you want an alt for? Any specific vision in mind? This is a two-parter, so we'll stop there first. What kind of alts? And this goes to everyone. So, Elaine, you're going to think on this too.
Oh,
okay. So we're going round robin on
I didn't.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
if you want, I was thinking about this briefly, so I can go first.
Go ahead. You can start.
So, like,
Oh, yeah,
this
I've
card
heard.
already has an alternate art, and this card is, like, 0 to 60, and the alternate art is just a different coloring kind of thing. But, like, the phrase is, like, very commonly associated with, like, a race car kind of situation, right? It's like we don't have mechs with cars before, like, as the attack, quote-unquote. Heck, there's even the battle tanks. So, like, I reckon, like, a speedy kind of race car variant of 0 to 60 would be very on the nose, but, like, kind of appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, that would look pretty cool. I'm going to definitely make a mech answer here, too.
That's what we do.
I would like to see... I know. That's what I'm going to do here. I would like to see a punk Dio. And I say this because we know in the story she hangs out with Max and his friends until they get into an argument or whatever. But I want to see, like, her, like, that punk phase. You know, I know she's already a rebel against her parents, but I want to see her go a little further. She's a little too clean cut right now. I want to see some ripped off sleeves, some tats, you know, that kind of thing, some crazy colors in her hair. I want to see a little more edge.
Is this like the part in Arcane where, like, Vi has black hair all of a sudden?
100%. hey, I got a type, okay? Don't talk about my type.
I'm
We gotta have to have our girl crushes, okay?
I'm more of a Kaylin kind of person, but I totally get, like, when that happened, oh my god.
Muscle mommies. Anyway, enough said.
And Elaine, still thinking on it?
Spotlight's on you,
Perfect
Elaine.
blue. I was not prepared. And I'm like, what are my favorite warrior cards that I'd want to see done? Oh my gosh. I don't know. Maybe like Valiant Dynamos, because I don't think I'll ever stop playing them. So like I'd love like an alternate version of them. Like I'd love to spice up the deck, and like that would be definitely a warrior card that if there was an alternate version of it, I would chase it. I would definitely chase it no matter how much it was. Yeah, maybe Valiant Dynamos. I'll say like one of my favorite warrior all-outs is Blade Runner. Because like where did that come from? And so I think like if we ever get like I don't know, if we ever get a kind of mech warrior crossover that we have like Blade Runner, then I think Valiant Dynamos with like rollerblades would be so fun. Yeah.
I mean, speaking as a person that's cosplayed and light up rollerblades, I agree. Give me something so that I have an excuse to not get kicked out in an event again, because I had to literally skate up to like the SCG booth and be like, y'all gonna kick me out, Ward? As I like spin around. He's like, no, as long as you behave, don't go fast, as I like zipped off. Bye.
Word is great.
He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. Like
oh
the
my
girl
God.
in Valiant Thrust with like the pink hair, like I want her.
I know,
like,
I
the
noticed her
mech
too, and I'm
warrior
like, she's got such a
crossover.
punk look. Where did that come from? Because she's in like a Solana look, right? So
As I
like,
say, she's a light
she's
warrior,
in like
right?
she's like a light
But
warrior,
she got that
she's
sweet
got
pink hair.
it is a light warrior card. She's got that pink
It's-
hair, and then we've got like the Blade Runner. There's like randomly some punk things in the warrior class, so give me Rollerblade Valiant Dynamos.
Like that card, the pink hair warrior lady, is just Mara before Dromai came out, basically, right? Like Solanian with pink hair.
Yeah.
went from slaying dragons to commanding them, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think I just suspect that Blade Runner is like the warrior in Metrics. Like, I just feel like there's more classes in
Has
Metrics
to
that
be.
aren't just mechanologist. It's just
I
unfortunate.
think they're just
storyline
afraid
wise.
of mechanologists going off the rails, you know, getting too much access to cards, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do like a set in Metrics without having mechanologists. Like Wild Take, but we had a set that was only
I know.
mechanologists.
I
But,
had
you know,
conversations about
you
this,
could have-
like grilling certain people.
You could have alchemists, you could have warriors, like there's a whole bunch of different things you could do.
Yeah.
Hell, even a mech
So
illusionist.
fun story. Fun story related to that. I know we're taking so much time here, but I'll just throw this like snippet out there. This you could always cut it, but when I was talking about doing Dio with James, you know, before he even told me what he wanted me to do, it was like he asked me this philosophical almost question. He goes, "What does metrics mean to you?" Like that's like the first question we entered this conversation with, and I said. Well, I said, metrics means to me the self-made person. The person that has no innate abilities as in magical powers, you know, the person that sees something, grasps it, and wants to teach themselves, and that's why I identify it with it, you know. And he was like, so that tells me that, like, mechanologist is so, like, ingrained with that, because it's, like, that class that doesn't have magic around it, but it has magic here. You know, it's like about
Yeah.
creating your future. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we will get warrior. I would love that. Like I've pushed for a mech warrior for quite a while. I want to see it.
It doesn't even have to be a
But,
mech warrior. I just think like from metrics, you know.
Something else, yeah. But I could see an illusion. I've said before. So there was a bunch of us that were going to do a what do you call it, like a D&D one shot set in metrics. It just never came to fruition. We just couldn't do schedules. But if it had, like I talked about like mechanologists that can also be like an illusionist, where it's like holograms, you know, and different things. It's just a different take on it. You know, you're not doing it through
that's
magic
cool.
or soul or dragons. You're doing it through technology, and so things like that would be really cool.
That came up in a previous episode.
You're so creative. Yeah.
Like
There was an
psych
episode-
out your opponents, you know? Like could you imagine
Yeah.
if they have to like target? It's kind of like Arclight. You have to target it, but then it could disappear. Like you roll to figure out like, did you target the
Right.
right thing, kind of thing.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
That came up in our mailbag questioner, was just you and I, and we're talking about dual classes and stuff. And I was like, I want an illusionist mechanologist that makes holograms.
Yes.
Or I think I might
yes,
said a
yes.
shadow
I'm really-
mechanologist that makes holograms. But yeah.
I think it was a shot. Yeah, I think, yeah.
I'm really sad that we never got to do that one shot because we actually had Sam Yang make art of our characters. So I have the art of
my
my
God.
character that I developed, and she's got like a really cool like hologram shield that she's got out there. She's like a junkyard scrapper who makes cool stuff and sells it illegally on the black market, but she's got like a hologram shield and everything. I just thought it was really cool.
That's really cool.
You know, if you're a part of the story, this part of this game, get back onto it and replan it somehow. We need this to happen.
Yeah.
Record it.
James, we know you're listening. Come on, just make the illusionist Mac.
And
He's sitting at home like when he sees this, like, do not call me out. Like I'm not doing that.
We keep doing that. Can we
I was gonna say, I don't think we've referenced James in a podcast more than this particular episode. He hasn't come up like multiple times
Yeah.
before. But we've even talked about his mother.
One of these
in this.
days.
I
of
think
these
we
days
talked
he's gonna
more
walk
about
out.
him than in the episode we had him on. Yeah.
He's gonna be like, you think I'm not watching, but I am. It'd be really like creepy.
I just because we know you're watching, I just wanted to point out that Rachel's the one who called you creepy, not us.
I said that it would be creepy if somebody came up and whispered that to
Oh,
you. I'm just saying.
I thought you were saying. I thought you were saying that he was saying that. I'm like, dang, I am not calling
I
him
was
out
like,
that.
I was like, I said if he were to walk by, could you imagine and be like, I saw what you said. Like, I said it would be creepy, but funny.
Well, I'm going
my
to the
God.
studio in like a few weeks' time, so we'll find out then. Um,
That's amazing. What are you doing at the studio? Is it a job interview?
I wish. No, I'm representing my store on behalf of like retailers. That's a little thing that's going on there. I asked if I was allowed to speak about it or not. The guy's like, yeah, you can. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm not broaching anything by saying this out loud. But if I am, I'm sorry, and you can blame whoever was emailing
That's
me.
awesome. It's a beautiful studio. Very cool.
I'm very excited. Alex did have one more part of the question, which is, what flesh and blood weapon would you love to have? I'm 5'6", and I think Summit would look great next to me.
Well, I think it would look great next to you too.
Yeah.
I guess I'll answer first this time since you went first last time. But I expect you both to answer, honestly. You don't get out of this, so I would say
can probably guess
We're
what
talking
weapon.
about like
For me.
Oh,
but
for
carry
you?
on. Yeah.
okay. I actually don't know. It could be Luminaris. I have no idea. For me, it would definitely be the plasma pistol, and I say that because it's convenient to carry. It can be modded in a lot of different ways, and I just love modular things and like taking them apart and putting them back together. And it just looks freaking cool. You know, you can't not look like a badass with the Tekla pistol. I mean, I should know. It's back there. It's on the shelf. So I can technically say I already have it, so it's kind of a cop-out, you know? I would get up and get it right now to be funny, but I'm wearing like my Max pants, and I'm not even joking about that. So, like double X Max pants that I'm working on right now because they're really comfy. So,
Right. So no
we aren't going to
spoilers.
spoil that. No spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I just spoiled it. Oh no, I said what I'm going to wear to Vegas. Woo.
You kind of hinted at it earlier on.
I hinted at it real strongly. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Unless you're like wearing like Dio again. Because you did mention an army deck. And mech. So there's a
recent
coin.
armory deck.
Yeah, recent.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
recent.
literally. Yeah. It does make sense, and like you know, you can love to have something that you have. You know.
I just
Yeah.
want the working version. Mine smokes and it has light, but it's kind of more of an intimidation factor than a real factor. So I can't set it to stun, unfortunately. Maybe if I like clock somebody upside the head, I don't know. Stun a little. Let's not find out.
You're right. Mine would be Luminaris, by the way. It's
Knew it.
so pretty and dainty and yeah.
Dangerous. Yeah.
I guess so, right? Like only if I have yellows in my pitch zone though. Otherwise it's kind of useless.
You're like, I always have yellows in my pitch zone.
But like seriously though.
But like seriously, yeah.
Like seriously.
If I don't, there's something horribly wrong or the game's already over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of just love it. The one in that picture is like just the orb portion of it. I don't think she has like the whole staff, whereas I'd want like the whole staff situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed where it's like, the 2-part, it depends on what image it is of her, like the full staff versus what she's holding in there. But I definitely had actually somebody reach out to me sometime last year wanting me to make one for them. I've actually gotten a lot of commission calls recently and I've had to turn them all down and I feel bad about it, but I just don't have time to make commissions with my full-time job and my full-time job here. So, but I've debated about making one for something later in this year that I'm working on. We'll see. Maybe I just got to make 2.
If it happens, I'm looking forward to seeing it. If it doesn't happen, I'll just imagine it.
Well, you just got to come here and retrieve the second one. Like I told you, I like to make 2 of things. There's the backup copies.
Right. Okay, so
That'll get you here.
it's tempting. It's tempting. Somehow. If it happens, I will do my best to be there.
You heard it here, Elaine. If you build it, they will come. So.
It'll come. Okay, I think my like first initial thought was Rosetta Thorn because I think that is just like a beautiful weapon. And also, this is an aside because I've gotten in a debate with people about this. Like when I imagine Briar like a fairy, but I know people that like will also imagine Briar like a
Amazon
like, big
warrior.
like Amazon like warrior.
She's like
massive.
5'11".
And I imagine Briar like this big, like
a very buff
like,
this
little,
big, but not that big.
Yeah, like a very like feisty buff. When we talked, this also came up in the mailbag episode that I was like, I want like a brute that's like a fairy, like a tiny
fairy,
like
little
like a tiny little fairy that is just like angry as shit and beat you up, but like
with
so
a little
feisty.
like stick club with a pebble on it. Like,
Yeah, like
I'm gonna wreck your
like,
shit.
and that's how I imagine Briar. So like in my head, like Rosetta Thorn is like the size of a toothpick. So I was like, oh, Rosetta Thorn, but I was like, nah, because it's this big. So I think my answer would be like I want Centauri sabers. I want Centauri saber like I want to get a tattoo of Kasai's Centauri sabers, and so I think I just need them for real. Yeah.
That's the iconic character.
I wish
trait.
Mech had prettier things for a tattoo. Honestly,
Yeah.
I've been craving one.
I've thought about getting Rosetta Thorn as a tattoo too, because it's so pretty. But
like vines crawling up,
But I
or something,
went
like
the-
sticking out of the ground and growing out of it, or something would be really cool. Like flowers
yeah,
encircling
yeah,
it.
you could like if you gave it's so cool. But I think I'm gonna get the sabers eventually because that's my girl.
It is. It's quintessentially you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I still also want a mech tattoo, but when I think about it, it's just the word boost. I just want the word boost on my ankle as the reference.
That's so awesome.
But what if you
Boost
got
on
a
the
full
ankle.
like ankle or like not ankle, full like calf piece that was the actual Achilles accelerator? Just
I
saying.
mean,
It's
that
a
would be
possibility.
really cool. I don't think it's my
really
aesthetic.
painful.
Like, it would be
Maybe a lot
like
of
Get
time.
the word
amazing.
accelerator on your Achilles.
There you go. Yeah, get the
Accelerator.
accelerator on your Achilles.
Boost
Yeah.
and
Like,
accelerator.
all my tattoos are very simple
Yeah.
line art kind of ones, so I don't know if I'd want like a full done piece kind of situation.
True. I could get that. It's about that aesthetic, tied
Exactly.
together.
I need people
that's
to
my
know I'm
problem.
basic.
I have. I have no tattoos, and I like every year that people tell me I'm like Benjamin Button, in like reverse or like. But for me, it's like I get younger every year. Like I was like, oh, I'll never have tattoos or piercings. Now I'm filling up my ears slowly with piercings like every year, and now I'm like, okay, it's time for the tattoo. Maybe for my 40th birthday. And I know tattoos aren't a big deal now, but I grew up in a way that was like, oh my God, don't get the tattoo. It's the devil. So I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm ready to really piss off my mom. Let's do it at 40. But I don't know I told Phil what I want to get. And the problem is I like things in painful areas is what I've been told, because I want a rib cage and I want a back of the neck. Yeah. But I want to get the foundry heart on my rib cage, just the heart portion of it that says unbroken underneath. So pretty cool.
I mean, just do it. I am the same way with my ears. I have 10 piercings on my ears now, 9 or 10. Yeah. And I have 4 tattoos, and I just like, all I ever want is more. Unfortunately for my wallet, but yeah, it's just like,
I want a new like piercing so bad right now, and the problem I have and the reason I slowed down on them a year ago is because of wigs. Like after I got my last double helix, like it was being bothered by my wig, and it took me a year and a half to heal it because of the wigs. Like it was the only time it actually finally healed was because I had like 3 months with no wig or something, where it just, you know, finally kind of got back together. And I want to get the flat done on this side, but I'm like, I've got a lot of wigs coming up and some really big ones.
I just got a piercing 2 weeks ago, and I almost got one on Saturday again, and I was debating getting one like in a week. Anyway, you just talked me out of it.
Yeah, if you got a wig, I just think it depends on the location, but anything that's going to touch that, I found like Dash really agitated the hell out of one of them so bad. It kept getting like puffed up and stupid and bumping. So.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to get is my industrial. I want done,
and that's a super hard one to heal normally. Yeah.
It's hard to heal anyways.
What about a faux industrial with like a chain between them? Those look really cool too.
Yeah, but I think like that's what I want eventually, but I'm pretty sure for like a starter, like I would
get the straight bar.
Unless I just got for a starter I'd get the straight bar. But I guess I could get 2.
That's what I'm wondering. Talk to your piercer. I know we're getting off track. You guys are gonna have to cut this whole thing, but like you talk to your piercer and they'll guide you. Yeah, we're gonna talk about piercings, piercing safety, you know, taking care of it.
Yeah.
It's actually part 2 of this.
It is, yeah. It's gonna be like the more you know.
Look at like the show note breakdowns that like, you know, you tab for the times. It's gonna be like piercing talk.
Yeah, by now there are no listeners left on this. They're like, what the F?
Piercing care.
Well, like
piercing
so.
Care,
all right, well.
We can talk about it afterwards because we probably should wrap it up. Thank you for being an amazing guest on our episode. You know, we spoke about a lot of important things. We had a lot of fun. Super glad that we were finally able to get you on here. So thank you very much. Now, of course,
thank you for having me.
We want people to be able to find you, find your work, your art, your content. So what's the best way for people to find your flesh and blood stuff?
I'm in almost every space, always under Max Ferocity, so 2 words usually jammed together the way social media makes you do it, MAX, and then Ferocity, like the card, Max Velocity, haha, just, you know, loving the puns and whatnot. And so I'm on Twitter, I'm on Bluesky, I'm on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel that's called Pour the Mold. I don't use it a lot, and I feel bad for that, but I really need to start getting some crafting videos out there. But there are some old videos if you guys want to check them out. We got some spoiler old videos on there and some fun stuff. That's pretty much what, if you're looking for me, you find it under Max Ferocity. And I will just say, I wanted to leave a cheesy tagline for you guys, just thinking about it when we were talking, but when we talked about feeling bad about yourself or not wanting to cosplay, don't ever let anybody put a mask on you or feel like you need to wear one just because of looks or whatever, unless it's really badass and you really just want to wear it. So I'm just gonna say that, like, don't wear a mask unless it's because you really want to wear a mask. You know, you are beautiful, put yourself out there and get to know people.
Of course, also if there's a pandemic.
Well, no, that's important. Yeah, no, we're talking about appearance. Don't feel like you have to hide your appearance. You are beautiful. Get out there. But if you really want to play, you know, creepy dudes like this, you know, go for it. Put that helmet on. I support it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And of course, you can find us at our socials. You can find me at kikibird.bsky.social. You can find Elaine at
ehamontree at bsky.social. Also still on Twitter, I guess. ehamontree, like bacon on bush or pork on shrubbery, just all one word.
Oh my god.
And of course, you can find our podcast on Bluesky as well, at pitchperfectpod.bsky.social. All of these also on Twitter. And keep an eye out on the Rainbow Pitch League accounts. That's rainbowxpitch.bsky.social, as we are ramping up with notifications and updates. By the time you'll see this, you'll have seen that the previous short for last week's episode mentions that we are announcing Season 3. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff coming up with that, updates, news that you haven't or have heard by now, depending on what I've created, what we've created, talked about, etc. Keep an eye, on those channels, and of course join our Discord. If you want, we get listener questions on there as well, so make sure you're all involved with that. Do you have any shout outs before we wrap this all up? Anyone you want to thank?
Me?
Yeah.
Shout outs?
Yeah.
I will actually put a shout out there. When I talked about making friends in the community, I want to shout out my cosplay sister, Carolina Alvarado. She's pretty much under that on a lot of socials. You find her. I would say she is like the queen of flesh and blood cosplay, and I'm really grateful for her always being a background supporter of, whenever I feel super stressed out in my cosplay, or I'm tired, or I'm exhausted, or I'm feeling bad for any reason. She's always there in my corner and keeping me motivated. So just shouting you out, girl.
Beautiful. We love her on this channel, We're hopefully getting her on sometime in the future soon. Just a quick little teaser. But until then, I believe that's everything we have for today. So thank you very much for listening and joining us. Thank you, Rachel, for joining us on today's episode. And for everyone, we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.